When I was studying Buddhism in Hong Kong U around 2015, I was also have the privilege of have the chance of meeting the Venerable Professor Dharma Jyoti. So after my first year, I heard that he was going to set up his own center. That was the Buddhist Dharma Center. So after that, I was so longing to continue my Buddhist study with him. So right after I finished my master degree in the Hong Kong U, so right away I was waiting anxiously to take up lessons from him. So that's how I learned about Buddhist Dharma Center. I will not dare to say that I have achieved inner peace, because this is something, it's a long journey. You have to really understand the theory and the practical side of how do you practice Buddhism in a very long-term way. But then after I studied Buddhism, I think I can open up a lot of my blind spots. I can treasure my life, or I can see how the world in many ways. How do you understand sufferings? How do we anticipate what the world is all about? What suffering means, life and death? How to become a more genuine human being? How do you live how do you expand your humanity? How do you transcend yourself in the path according to the Buddha's teaching, to be more rational, to be more compassionate, to develop your wisdom? I would say that it's a long path, but I think I have chosen the right path. So by following the teachings of the Buddha, by following the studies of the teachings of the Buddha, I can become a more logical person. I can become a better Buddhist. And from then on, I think I may be able to achieve the peace inside me. Well, I would not say that I have achieved inner peace, but through the Buddhism studies and learning the Vipassana, Samadhi, you try to practice this, or you try to practice what you've learned in your life, you become more settled, open up to yourself, or even open up to all perspectives into life. Then you're more settled in, and then you will be able to counter the problems in a different way. So I would say that yes, it improved myself. There's disturbance inside, or even you cannot calm me down, but you can start seeing the problems where it arises. So I think it's getting better and better every day, or you know your own problems better every day, and then you know yourself better every day. I think this is a big giant step, and then I will keep on for myself. I will try to practice Buddhism, or become a real Buddhist as a way of life. The core of Buddhism is very important. It's the dependent origination, to see what suffering means in the world, to take Buddhism as a way of a path of a way of life. This is very important. That's why I think I strongly recommend that even though if you are a non-Buddhist, or if you are a Buddhist, you should, or it's advisable to take up Buddhism as your something to pursue in your life. Because Buddhism is not just a religious thing. It's not a philosophical thing. It's also about a lot of logical deduction, rational thinking, very knowledgeable, scientific, psychological, and also is about how to understand oneself. How do you see the world differently? How do you transcend yourself in daily difficulties or your obstacles, and it's a way of solving things and a way of to increase one's wisdom and being not just loving but the compassionate, being compassionate towards other human beings or all living beings. How do you see the things not being polarized, and how to be balanced? This is very important. This is something about living, and this is what the society needs, and this is what, as a human being, we need to be balanced. And to achieve the balance in life, you can be a better person, and then you can understand karma, you can understand a lot of things, or the things that you don't understand before that get you so messed up. Maybe through Buddhism you can unlock a lot of the mysteries, unlock a lot of the questions. So you don't have to be a Buddhist to study Buddhism. This is actually a very vast subject. I would recommend, strongly recommend, you have to take Pali and Sanskrit from Venerable Professor Dhamma-jyoti, because the Venerable himself is an expert in Pali and Sanskrit. Not only he can teach us the two languages in a very explicit and a very easy way to understand these two difficult languages, but most important is through the languages, Dhamma-jyoti very well explained the teachings and the basic meaning of the sutta, and of course of some of the commentaries. And also he can let us to understand the teachings of the Buddha, and also the very basic meaning of Buddhism in a very inspirational, creative way. So for myself, I strongly recommend that you can consider taking up these two subjects. On the other hand, there's one subject I think I also very strongly recommend is Abhidhamma by Karuṇadasa.